Hey guys, today I'm going to be talking with you on why you should adopt a pet instead of buy a pet. I know that all of you are probably going to have your own opinions on why you rather buy or why you rather adopt, but I'm here to tell you from personal experience that adoption is such a rewarding experience. Just last month in November, me and my husband celebrated our 1 year adoptiversary with our pit bull Waldo. So along the way, I'm just going to kind of tell you his story as well as some good reasons on why you should adopt instead of buy. Let's start off with my number one reason on why you should adopt. It's because you can save a life. A lot of people probably don't know this, but there are 2.7 million dogs and cats that are euthanized every year in shelters. And a lot of that just has to do because no one wants them, and the shelters are so full that they run out of space to bring in even more. I know from where in my county, which is Berkeley County, our shelter, after so many days or weeks, those dogs are euthanized and more brought in. And it's just real sad because I feel like those dogs weren't given a chance. And a lot of people don't even think about our local shelters and that there are dogs and cats out there that need homes and that you can get them without spending $500 to $1,000 on a pure breed. And speaking of that, you can get pure breed dogs in shelters. There are even shelters and rescues that specialize in certain dog breeds, and all it takes is you Googling it, and you can find it and save these dogs, give them a home and a warm bed to sleep in, and food and a shelter over their head. And I can promise you, they are the most loving, sweet dogs you'll ever meet, and they will be thankful for you saving their life. And really, when you adopt one, you don't just save one life, you get to save two. Because when your dog comes home with you or your cat comes home with you, you get to give the option to another pet that needs to come to the shelter a chance for someone to adopt them. So it's a win-win situation for you, the dog or cat that you adopt, and the dog or cat that needs to come into the shelter. The number of dogs and cats that are euthanized every year can dramatically go down just by more people adopting. I mean, it is simple as that. The more that people adopt, the more we have, or the less we have to euthanize the animals that are already in shelters. So that is one of the main reasons on why I think you should adopt. So let me tell you a little bit about how we come across our pit bull Waldo that we adopted last November. We actually did not get him from the shelter. We snagged him before he got that far. One of our friends who's really big into rescuing dogs and cats found him in a ditch on her way home from work one day, and she got out of her car, and as soon as she walked up to him, he immediately collapsed to the ground. So she picked him up and put him in her front seat, and she brought him home, and he looked horrible. He weighed probably about 15 to 20 pounds. When we took him to the vet the next day, the vet had told us that another week and he'd be dead. He was eat up with what they call hookworms, which basically just sucks his blood. He was very anemic. His gums were white. His eyes were pale. He was very rough looking. He was eat up with fleas. And like I said, you could see every rib. You could pretty much count every bone on his body. So we brought him home from the vet, and he never made it to the shelter. He stayed at my friend's house, and we fed him liver, is what the vet suggested, and gave him some antibiotics and some other medications. And now he weighs about 40 pounds, and he's healthy, and he's happy, and he's loving. And you can really tell that he appreciates just being in a home filled with love. He does have a sister. Her name is Harley. And they are like best friends. They're inseparable. So it's really been so rewarding just to see him go from bones to this chubby little thing. We can pinch his cheeks, and he is just literally one of the happiest dogs ever. And he loves, like, us. He loves his sister, and he just loves life. You can definitely tell where he used to run and hide, now he is running to look for somebody. I mean, it's just such an amazing feeling. So, I'm telling you, adoption is the way to go. Now, not all dogs that are adopted are like Waldo's situation. They're not abandoned or abused. Some of them come from families that are moving, that can't take the pet with them. Older people that are no longer to take care of their pets. And sometimes when people get divorced, they'll bring in their pets. So you get a wide range of dogs and cats. It's not just dogs and cats that have been abused or mistreated. You can really get some really good dogs that have already been potty trained, that already know simple commands like sit and stay. And you can even get purebreds. I mean, it's all about doing your research and finding the right shelter. And it's really not that hard to do. There's so many resources out there. It's an amazing thing to do, and I really suggest it. Also, the cost of buying a dog these days it's outrageous. My first year of college, before I even got into the whole adoption thing, I had purchased a Maltese, and he cost me $500 out of pocket, just the dog. That didn't include any kind of vet bills such as vaccinations or being neutered or spayed or anything like that. So when you adopt a dog from a shelter, the cost of your spay and neuter and vaccinations is already included, and that cost only ranges from $50 to $200. I mean, that is so much cheaper than buying a purebred dog or any kind of dog really from a breeder or a puppy mill or a pet store. So, I mean, you could save yourself a lot of money and save a life at the same time. They also, I feel like, shelter dogs just have this sense of love and laughter about them. They provide unconditional love, and they've been shown to psychologically, emotionally, and physically benefit their companions. So it's really a win-win situation for you and the dog. So really, you should really think about adopting a dog. It's really an amazing thing. So I hope really you'll consider it. I can tell you a few places you can go. You can go to Paws. They have a website that you can check out dogs and cats to adopt. You can also check out your local shelters. And that's really it. I mean, it really is just an amazing feeling. And, if you're like me, my dogs are like my children. And I do anything for them. And just to see the progress that Waldo has overcome in the last year has been amazing and rewarding, and I would definitely do it all over again with another dog, no questions asked. It is such an amazing thing to do. So I hope this will maybe convince you to go do the same thing. You can adopt dogs or cats. There's plenty of them. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you go adopt a dog.